If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with all my latest videos. Well, hi guys, in this episode we're going to talk about catching, cooking and eating sole. Now Dover sole, which are the sole which we get up here, are absolutely fantastic eating fish, but to catch them I find what works best for me and what's most successful are very small hooks, just like this one just here, with no beads, no attractors, fish straight on the bottom. Now when you fish on the bottom for these guys, I use lugworm, but people have good results with ragworm as well. Now the fish always seem to want to feed and come in just as it's going dark for me, and that's when I catch most of them. So we're going to just cut out, catch a sole, and then we'll bring it back and go and eat it. So here's a sole which I had on the line earlier in the year, and it featured in a previous video. Now when it comes to taking sole from the sea, they've got a minimum size of 25 centimeters, but to be fair, I wouldn't bother with them at that size because they're just way too small to really warrant taking from the sea for a feed. But they are great fish once they get a bit bigger, and I tend to try and target these fish for the plate when they're up around about a pound in weight, and that way you get something for your catch. But always check the local size limits on the fish because they can change from time to time. Preparing the fish once I get home, I've got a knife, a pair of forceps and a pair of scissors, and this is all I need to prep the fish ready for cooking. The first step with the scissors is to cut the fin off around the body. Skinning the fish, what you do is take the knife, run it across the back of the tail, pick up the flap of skin, grab it with the forceps, roll the forceps over themselves and try and get that skin off in one piece. Remember, sole have got very tough skin and this is a bit tricky. Once I get the top skin off, then what I do is relieve the fish of its guts, clean out that body cavity by making a small insertion and then hooking the guts out with the tip of the knife in my fingers. Of course, making sure not to catch the guts with the knife or burst the guts and sour the flavour of the fish. And I remove the skin from the underside of the fish in the same way I did for the top. And the final stage of taking this fish apart is to take the head and the tail off, and this is mainly for me to be able to fit it in the size of the pan that I've got. And now I need something to accompany the fish when it's cooked, and I'm going to do roasted new potatoes with vegetables and anchovy fillets. So to start with, I'm just going to cut all the potatoes into equal sized chunks using that crinkle cutter I use for chips sometimes because it gives it more surface area to crisp up. Then I'm going to put them in a baking tray, add a bit of salt, pepper, oil and butter and stick these in the oven for about sort of 40 minutes before I add the next ingredient. Once the butter's melted in that baking tray, I'll just give it a quick mix around to make sure that every potato's got a good covering. Next I'm going to cut out the rest of the ingredients to add to this tray. Now I'm going to start off just cutting up a handful of shallots and a little tub of mixed cherry tomatoes as well. Now the potatoes have had about 40 minutes on their own, I'll take them out the oven, give them a quick shake around, and then I'll add the other ingredients such as the shallots and the little cherry tomatoes to the tray before they go back in the oven for a further 30 minutes. It's probably a
good thing to mention, I have my oven on. It's a fan oven at 180 degrees. Next, I'll get the anchovy fillets ready. Now ideally I'd use fresh ones, I just couldn't get hold of any fresh ones. So I got the pre-cooked ones preserved in oil, but they still do the job nice. And I just lay them on top to dry out a little bit and crisp up, just to add that extra depth of flavour. Now if you don't like anchovy fillets, I'd also do this with chorizo and that's quite nice as well. Now let's get on to cooking the star of the show, this little sole which I caught. Now I start by dusting it in some seasoned flour with salt and pepper, and then I stick it in a nice hot pan. Once it's had a few minutes in that pan and it's cooked halfway through, I then flip it over to do the other side. You may notice as well on this fish that I've left the little fringe sort of bones in there. That's because I like to get the most out of every fish I catch, and although some people cut them off, these bits are still edible. The fish is nearly done, the vegetables are done as well. Time to remove them from the oven, take that pan off the heat and plate up and enjoy this meal.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I definitely enjoyed eating that fish. But if you've liked this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button down here. Make sure you check out my latest fishing video there, my playlist up here, or even another Catch It, Cook and Eat It just there.